Hi, I'm Deanna Cornelius. I'm a nutritionist at the Happy Bento, a company that provides healthy home-delivered meals as well as healthy school lunch. I grew up in Hawaii and decided in my early 20s that I was most interested in nutrition and how the body used the foods that we eat to do all of these chemical processes and reactions that fuel not only our bodies but our minds. So I went to the University of Hawaii at Manoa, and then I got my master's degree in nutrition on the mainland and came back. And then I started working at the Queen's Medical Center as a nutritionist, and I got to talk to a lot of people, hundreds of people, about their health, their concerns, their worries, and what makes them choose certain foods. And usually what I found over the years is that people make food choices very often based solely on preference and very little of the time based on sound information. So what I'd like to do is talk kind of generally about how we can eat to better our health, and more specifically, how older adults can achieve this. You know, about 10 months ago, when we could still travel, I flew to California and I catered my grandmother's 95th birthday party. And Grandma Leona is just kicking and screaming, and she's got the best, most witty sense of humor. She can remember all, 40-something grandchildren's names, I'm not sure how, and their birth dates. And so she's doing great, and she's 95 years old. My mother is 73. She also lives in California, and actually she's not doing so great. I once went there, also in January, to her house, and I was visiting, and I opened her refrigerator vegetable drawer, and this is the honest truth. I opened her drawer, and there's 2 heads of iceberg lettuce and a box of bottle caps, the candy bottle caps. And that's what was in her fridge. And so the difference was so stark between my 95-year-old grandmother and my 73-year-old mother. And the main difference that I see and that I have witnessed all of my life is that Grandma always ate very simply, but always very fresh. They have a 1-acre property in California, and they grew pretty much everything. And they ate only what they grew. And they only went to the grocery store for things like meat and things that they didn't grow. Whereas my mother, she wasn't the best cook growing up, and so I didn't have a big repertoire of foods by the time I was 20. And I was very unhealthy. I was 40 pounds overweight. And then I got into nutrition. Then I started realizing, there is really something to, what you put into your body. So generally what I have found, in talking to Grandma over the years and talking to different adults, a lot of our clients at the Happy Bento, in terms of what their dietary preferences are and what they're most worried about, it comes down to 3 things that I wanted to talk to you about today. The 3 things are preventing chronic illness, falling, and preserving their memory or guarding against memory loss. These tend to be the top 3 fears in anybody older than 60 that I talk to. So I wanted to go over each one: chronic illness, falling risk or reducing the risk of falling, as well as memory loss, and what you can do nutritionally to make sure that these things, you can help to prevent these things from happening at any age. So for the first one, I want to talk about chronic illness, and this can mean anything from rheumatoid arthritis to cancer to type 2 diabetes to Alzheimer's disease. So these are very serious illnesses that happen in the older age group, and a lot of them can be prevented just by proper diet. In fact, the World Health Organization says that among older adults, meaning anybody older than 55, the number one reason for chronic disease is a lack of proper diet. And so, what does proper diet really mean? Well, it means a lot of things. It means eating a variety of food, not just sticking to your top 10 things. It means eating, something that you might not eat all the time. If you haven't had rambutans in a year, they're still in season right now. They're still seen at the farmers markets. So maybe pick up a few. If you're used to sweet potatoes or yams, maybe pick up a purple variety, the Okinawan sweet potato. Just expand your repertoire just a little bit, and by doing so, you'll increase your variety. You'll cover a lot more of your bases in terms of micronutrients and the things that are important for you to age in a more healthy way. That brings me to a very important nutrient, which is fiber, that you've probably heard about. We all need fiber, and in the United States and even in Hawaii, we are notoriously bad at getting enough fiber every day. But there is light at the end of that tunnel, meaning if we eat the recommended number of fruits and vegetables every day, we will get enough fiber. So that simply means that you have to increase your fruits and vegetables. And a serving isn't, we need at least 5 to 6 servings a day, and some nutrition bodies require or recommend up to 11 a day, which is where I kind of fall. I kind of fall on the more is better in terms of fruits and vegetables. But a serving isn't that big. A serving could be the size of your closed fist, like this. One serving would be half of this papaya. One serving might be this much of a sweet potato. It's about a half a cup. Very easy to get enough. And by doing so, you'll get enough fiber, which leads me to the next thing that goes along with fiber, which is water. A lot of older adults complain that they feel lethargic, or they're low energy, or they might feel confused or just sort of out of it. And a lot of times it's simply because they're dehydrated. So making sure you get enough water every day is super important. And it's, starting with a nice clean glass of water in the morning and ending with one in the evening, maybe not too close to bedtime, but making sure you drink some water or have water handy so that you can sip it throughout the day. It's very important, especially if you're getting enough fiber. You need water to keep things moving and keep your digestive system healthy. The next thing I want to talk about is vitamin D. Now, vitamin D is an easy nutrient to get. We all get it from direct exposure to sunlight onto our skin. And inside of our skin, this really cool reaction happens where the sunlight is turned into a vitamin D precursor, which is then fed into the bloodstream, and it turns into vitamin D inside of our bodies. So we can get it from the sunlight. And vitamin D is very important for the second thing that seems to be among the top 3 worries of older adults, which is the risk of falling. Vitamin D is very important for a lot of things. It keeps our immune system strong. It protects against chronic diseases like cancer, type 2 diabetes, even arthritis. So by increasing our levels of vitamin D, we can help manage these diseases a little bit better. And certainly talk to your doctor or nutritionist before you start supplementing. Vitamin D, the ability to assimilate vitamin D reduces naturally as we age. So it's good to get your blood tested before you start doing anything like supplementation. But you can get it through food. Besides sunlight, you can get vitamin D from foods like salmon and sardines, tuna, and interestingly, the mushroom has a lot of vitamin D that's bioavailable. So we have a lot of nice varieties of mushrooms that are locally grown here in Hawaii. So you can get your vitamin D that way if you enjoy mushrooms. And then, of course, sunlight and supplementation. But again, please talk to your doctor or nutritionist before taking any supplements. And there have been a number of studies that provide data that point to a reduced risk of falling and or disorientation when your vitamin D levels are optimal. So that's another good reason to get enough vitamin D, is to reduce your risk of falling. Now, the third top 3 worry is memory loss or some kind of cognitive impairment. You know, we're all afraid of that. And my 95-year-old grandmother, I still can't believe she does the things she does. You know, she might not be able to walk so great without her walker, but she is on Facebook every single day. She text messages all of her grandkids, including me, all the time. All I have to do if I want to talk to her is send her a text, and then she calls me. You know, she is with it, and it's because I believe she has eaten very close to the source every day of her life, and she knows where her food has come from, and she has eaten a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables. She also has walnut trees, so she's been eating a lot of walnuts for a lot of years. So, you know, she's gotten her omega-3 fatty acids, which is the nutrient that I wanted to discuss with regard to memory loss and cognitive decline, because omega-3 fatty acids provide a good way to think about it is that, you know, it's kind of a lubricant of sorts. And they come in fats, in the kind of a fatty form, because they're fatty acids. So they lubricate our neurons and provide protection for our nerves, including our optic nerve. Omega-3 fatty acids can protect against macular degeneration or loss of eyesight. They can protect against memory loss, things like Alzheimer's disease. You know, you can delay an onset of Alzheimer's disease with high levels of omega-3 fatty acids. Inflammation gets reduced when omega-3 fatty acids are high in the bloodstream. And they're easily found. Nuts, fish, especially fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, you know, the oily fish like that. And then, of course, supplements. But once again, please talk to your doctor or nutritionist before supplementing. But, you know, chronic illness, a risk of falling, and cognitive decline or memory loss, they don't have to be so scary, especially if you're eating whole, you know, real food, not prepackaged, you know, less prepackaged foods, more whole foods, especially the ones that are grown closest to home here in Hawaii with the highest level of nutrients, and getting enough sunlight, you know, fresh air and sunlight outside 5-10 minutes a day, and, you know, expanding your variety of food, keeping things seasonal, enjoying what Hawaii has to offer in terms of its seasons. You know, oranges are coming into season right now. Zucchini is coming into season. And then we have beautiful fruits and vegetables that are found all year round. So it's a delicious way to stay healthy by eating well and eating local. And I'm so glad you decided to join me today. And again, I am Deanna Cornelius from The Happy Bento.